Emmy Sobieski, it is an absolute pleasure to be sitting down with you today. How you doing?
Great, great. Thanks for having me, Adrian.
Emmy, I am super excited to be doing this because, as you can see here, my face is glowing and your face is glowing. And since we first sat down in September 2020, what was going on with yourself and your business? And more importantly, how has that been able to move you forward to where we're at today?
So I wasn't able to get a job. For some reason, I was too stale at this or my track record or whatever. And so I just decided, you know what? I'm going to make my own company, make my own living, not be dependent on some corporation to decide whether I can work or not. And, that all sounds great. And I had great ideas, but then how do you execute it? I don't know. And so I found you online and you and I had a great conversation and you're super positive and calm that, the future was bright. But I think I had 1,000 LinkedIn followers and no real strategy. So that was where I started, a lot of hope and a lot of anxiety and worry that I didn't know what I was doing.
Emmy,
I'd never filmed anything on YouTube. And no, I'd never filmed a video of myself. I didn't know what I was doing.
Emmy, share a little bit about the success that you've had to date in your life so that the audience knows.
Yeah, so I posted 140 YouTube videos. I'm up to 21,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I've built 16 courses that are online for executives. And I've been selling those courses, and then you got me also to launch a newsletter. And so I have an entire strategy of not only posting every day on LinkedIn, but then working the direct messages on LinkedIn and then migrating those contacts that want to interact over to email and then selling them my courses. And I've also have income coming in from executive coaching.
Wowzers. Where did you find all that time to create all those courses?
That I don't know. My typical thinking was if I'm asked a question a number of times by a coaching client, then that's something that I should create a course around. And I didn't create big, long courses, although my nutrition one's a little bit long, but most of my courses are around something that someone would Google and have a tough time finding the answer to. And they're all geared towards executives. So for instance, if someone finds themselves, they have a team to manage, it's almost like when you get kids, there's no course, that you take a parenting course. It's like you get a team to manage. How do you figure out how to manage people? And a lot of people just try and have, they have bad results because they're arguing, or they're telling people what to do, or they just don't know how to manage people or what the right strategies are. And so I created 5 courses for executive execution, which one of them is delegation, but one of them is knowing your career path, one of them is high stakes decision making, those kind of things. A small thing like you have this area you want to improve, and it's really focused on that area. So there's 5 of those. There's 4 in executive health, like nutrition, stress management, exercise, and isolation. And then there's 3 in executive influence, which is using LinkedIn, being great on video, creating a content machine the way that you've helped me do it. And then 2 in executive wealth, which is the stock market, as well as understanding cryptocurrencies. Even if you never invest, there's just so much happening in that space that it's important for tech and finance executives to at least understand the space.
Boom. I love that. Emmy, when you first began this journey and we started working together, how much time were you investing each day with your LinkedIn?
With my LinkedIn, it was probably 3 to 4 hours because I would write the content, which I've gotten faster at writing the content, but then I would post the content on LinkedIn, post it on Facebook, 2 places on LinkedIn, 3 or 4 places on Facebook, repurpose it for Twitter, and then interact with comments and just like all of the audience working and some of the DMs. So yeah, it was taking 3 to 4 hours a day.
Okay. And then as you progressed, what made you progress to start building a team for yourself so that they could post your content and run your messaging campaigns?
I started realizing that it's not a good use of my time, and that I needed the time to build the courses, frankly, and not interact on LinkedIn for 4 hours. And I still interact with people on LinkedIn. I go in later or just check my phone, but it meant that I didn't have to at 4 o'clock every day during my post time, like drop everything and do LinkedIn for 3 hours. It just was, I think it was just like looking at my business and what I wanted to do with my business and these courses I wanted to create. And it was like, I could either be writing courses where I can build once and sell multiple times, or I can be doing all of this LinkedIn content. And so it was just, to me, it took it down to 2 hours a week from 4 hours a day.
And now, if we look at the last 12 months, you have evolved your profile. You want to talk a little bit about how your profile has evolved from when we first started to where it is now?
Yeah. So at the beginning, I took a course called Build Once, Sell Twice by Jack Butcher, and it was a great course to be able to say, what business should I be in? And I came to this conclusion that the thing that was different about me, my unique thing, was that I'd run the #1 fund in the world while being world or nationally ranked in 3 different sports. And so I could tell people and show people how to fit it in. So I started with a lot of nutrition and exercise kind of courses and coaching to show people how to fit it in. And that kind of evolved over time as I went to work as a vice president at CoinCloud and was managing people and kind of seeing all the struggles of other managers and other executives, and created courses around some of those talents and skills. And then I saw a lot of people were having trouble with, either understanding how to be an executive while having a LinkedIn presence. I had some companies that I was working with that wanted help just being a little bit better and more thoughtful about LinkedIn and about being on video, or about how to create a leverage content creation machine. So I created courses like that. And then I stepped back for a minute and I said, okay, this is no longer self-care and fitting in fitness and nutrition. This has become something different, which is just a full, what I call real wealth of leadership, wealth, and health of the executive. And so I actually started with my 10 min, which was my website, to say you can always fit it in. You can fit in this nutrition and exercise in 10 minutes. You can do self-care. And then I kind of migrated over to myhealth.mba as I was building out those health courses. And then now I've moved back to my 10 min, because it's back to, you can fit in building all these executive skills 10 minutes at a time. It's never too late.
I love that. And speaking of the fitness side of things, one thing that I remember very clearly was when you were talking about heart rate and aerobic capacity. Do you want to just touch on that very briefly?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that I've done is really leverage kind of the thinking and the education around exercise in order to do less and get more, because I just didn't have the time. And so I was reading about this guy, Phil Maffetone, and he worked with a bunch of endurance athletes. And what he found was that this formula that we all use, the 220 minus your age, and then 85% of that, is the wrong formula. And everyone is working out basically above their aerobic capacity. And so they're not building aerobic capacity because they're not working their aerobic system. And so what I had said to you, and so Phil Maffetone took this Ironman athlete, I'm going to forget his name, but anyway, he took this Ironman athlete, and basically this guy was always like 6th, 7th, never podiuming, and never in the top 3. So it's having a tough time making a living at it, and said, you've got to stay below this heart rate. Mark Allen. And so then Mark Allen said, this is crazy. I'm training with this guy and I'm walking up my hills on the training. It's crazy. Like, I'm an Ironman. I shouldn't have to walk up the hills, but my heart rate goes too high. And his friend said, no, stick with it. And he stuck with it. And then after 6 months, he was powering up these hills at a super low heart rate. And he won 6 of the next 10 Ironman World Championships. And Maffetone has shown that you have 60% lower injury rate because the oxygen is going to all of your cells and you're getting fueled properly. And so you get stronger, faster with less injuries.
Boom, winning combination. Emmy, what are some of the results that you've achieved over the last 12 months on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think my top results are that I'm able to just earn a living for myself by selling coaching packages as well as courses. And then, of course, having the time to build 16 courses because the VAs are handling my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And then growing my LinkedIn from 1,000 followers to 21,000 followers in a year is really helping, because now when I do outreach on LinkedIn, it's not, you don't run out of people. You have plenty of people to reach out to. And we've done that in a very targeted way, where the type of followers that I have are the type of people that are executives looking for these kind of services.
Boom. I love that. Emmy, what does the future look like for you?
I'm really excited. The next project that I'm going to do, now that I have my courses up and running and I have my email campaigns going, which you guided me on, is that I'm going to help young students break into Wall Street from non-traditional and non-target schools. And so this hopefully will help diversify Wall Street and solve a major problem that the banks have, that they just don't go to those non-target schools, and they need kind of a magnet to bring those highly motivated non-traditional students to them.
Wow. And you've just moved as well.
Yeah, I just moved from San Francisco down to San Diego.
Exciting times ahead. And you're getting to do the things that you love, like riding horses.
Yeah, and running. I have a 50K coming up this January, and then I'm hiking the Tour de Mont Blanc, which is 35,000 vertical feet and 85 miles over 9 days in August. Yeah.
Wow.
So walking the talk.
Walking the talk. Lots of great things happening. Emmy, this has been an absolutely amazing journey, and I'm super excited for what's to come for you. Thank you so much for your time. I'm super blessed to have come across you on this amazing journey of building relationships on LinkedIn. Such a powerful platform.
Yeah, it's where we met.
Yep. Happy days.
Absolutely. Emmy, yeah, thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. Emmy, where can people find you? How can they reach out to you?
They can find me on LinkedIn at Emmy Sobieski, and they can also find me on Twitter at Emmy Sobieski, and they can DM me on either. Boom.
I love that. Emmy, thank you so much. Super excited for what's to come. Keep crushing it.
Thank you, Adrian.